chapter 3. And he showed me Yeshua the high priest standing before the angel of the Lord, and Satan standing at his right hand to accuse him. And the Lord said unto Satan, The Lord rebuke you, O Satan. Yes, the Lord that hath chosen Jerusalem rebuke you. Is not this man a brand plucked out of the fire? Now Yeshua was clothed with filthy garments, and he stood before the angel. And he answered and spoke unto those that stood before him, saying, Take the filthy garments from off him. And unto him he said, Behold, I cause your iniquity to pass from you, and I will clothe you with robes. And I said, Let them set a fair mitre upon his head. So they set a fair mitre upon his head, and clothed him with garments, and the angel of the Lord stood by. And the angel of the Lord forewarned Yeshua, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, If you will walk in my ways, and if you will keep my charge, and will also judge my house, and will also keep my courts, then I will give you free access among these that stand by. Hear now, O Yeshua, the high priest, you and your fellows that sit before you, for they are men that are a sign. For behold, I will bring forth my servant the shoot. For behold, the stone that I have laid before Yeshua, upon one stone are 7 facets. Behold, I will engrave the engraving thereof, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will remove the iniquity of that land in one day. In that day, saith the Lord of hosts, shall you call every man his neighbor under the vine and under the fig tree. All right, let's go back up to verse 1. And we are continuing, we're just continuing in the prophecies and these visions that Zechariah, these that were remembered of God, was having yesterday, or in the last chapter, when he had lifted up his eyes, or even lifted up these perceptions, these things which he had seen, so that we could have them and use them for a witness. But he's declaring now this, and this is that return from the captivity, those that flee from Babylon, those that come back, and we're going to find out God's making a new beginning, because God has that great ability to do this. And we'll find that we left off with the last chapter declaring this great silence, this stillness before the Lord, because God is making a great new beginning, and we'll find even out this great redemption that God had declared. We're going to pick it up here in verse 1. And he showed me Yeshua, the high priest, standing before the angel of the Lord, and Satan standing at his right hand to accuse him. And he showed me, this angel that was declaring these visions unto Zechariah, this angel, and an angel is a messenger, and we got that right here. This angel that was standing before the Lord shows Zechariah, those that remembered God, Yeshua. Yeshua was the high priest, and Yeshua means God's salvation. See, God's salvation, and he is the high priest. He is above all those that stand before God. And Satan was standing at his right hand to accuse him. Satan, or Satan. Satan is the Hebrew word for Satan, as is spoken in English. And Satan is the one who opposes. It means the adversary, the opposer, the one who is against, the opposite of. And the Lord said unto Satan, The Lord rebuke you, O Satan. Yes, the Lord that has chosen Jerusalem rebuke you. Is not this man a brand plucked out of the fire? And the Lord said unto Satan, or Satan, the opposer, The Lord rebukes you. The Lord rebukes you, or puts you back in your place. Yes, Satan, the Lord hath chosen Jerusalem, and that's that place of peaceful teachings. We'll find out, because the Lord had declared he will yet choose Jerusalem, saying, Is not this man a brand plucked out of the fire? And this brand is like a firebrand, the one that you would stick in the fire to heat up for a purpose, and we will remember it was to seal it up. It is will find to make known. Even this fire that it's being plucked out of is the judgment of God. 3. Now Yeshua was clothed with filthy garments, and he stood before the angel. And Yeshua, the God's salvation, was clothed with these filthy garments. And these filthy garments are what they are is they represent the staining of one's garments, and it's sin or non-observance of God's law, which he gave you in the beginning. 4. And he answered and spoke unto those that stood before him, saying, Take the filthy garments from off him. And unto him he said, Behold, I cause your iniquity to pass from you, and I will clothe you with robes. And he answered and spoke, Yeshua, God's salvation, being clothed with these filthy garments. God said, Take the filthy garments from off him. And unto him he said, Behold, look and see, I cause your iniquity to pass from you, and I will clothe you with robes. And we see now that God declares to remove these filthy garments, to remove these coverings that are stained, we'll find with sin, to remove for God has the ability to forgive. See, God has the ability to rebuke sin. God has the ability to rebuke all those things. God was making an example. It's the work of God, and God has the ability to control it. But by taking these filthy garments, by removing this iniquity, this iniquity that is caused to pass away from him, are those perversions, these twistings, to bring true understanding returns. See, God says, I will clothe you with robes. And these robes, these coverings here, are the coverings of understanding, these that give the rule, these that set aside, these that separate. 5. And I said, Let them set a fair mitre upon his head. So they set a fair mitre upon his head, and clothed him with garments, and the angel of the Lord stood by. Let them set a fair mitre upon his head. This mitre, it was a turban, or a wrapping of the head, and that is the understanding. It was a protection to cover the head. It was to show there was an understanding within it that was protected. And that's what the example of the mitre was. And this understanding should be that you keep the law of God. Going to find that out. And they clothed him with the garments, and that was the understanding. And the angel of the Lord stood by. And this angel of the Lord, or this messenger, this one who was dispatched, they act as a representative or a deputy of. See, that's what a deputy does. He's like the representative of the sheriff himself. So that's kind of what an angel is. He's a representative of God himself. 6. And the angel of the Lord forewarned Yeshua, saying, and this angel, this representative of God, forewarns Yeshua, tells him before he does it. 7. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, if you will walk in my ways, and you will keep my charge, and will also judge my house, and will also keep my courts, then I will give you free access among these that stand by. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, if you will walk in my ways, and you will keep my charge, and will also judge my house, and will also keep my courts. And we'll find out these will be the robes that was given, this authority here, that to keep my ways, my laws, my statutes, my ordinances, which I give you in the beginning, God said. See, we're going to get that same qualifier. Every time God makes a new beginning, that's the same qualifier. And it's always the same qualifier. If you will keep my commandments. If you will keep my statutes, my charge. If you will judge my house, he tells Joshua, because this would be that judgment seat that was given in the beginning of mercy. If you will keep my courts, these places, these wide places of God, these places where they gather even, Then will I give you the free access among those that stand by. And these were uh, all the representatives of God, these that help, these that support. Hear now, O Yeshua, the high priest, you and your fellows that sit before you, for they are men that are assigned for, behold, I will bring forth my servant the shoot. Hear now, listen, O Yeshua, the high priest, and that is God's salvation is above those that stand before God. You and your fellows, all those that sit before you, that there are there before you at your feet or in your path, these that are before you, for they are men that are assigned. They are for an example. They are men that are for a sign. They are like could be used for a witness, even a post, a marker, something we can see. Behold, for I will bring forth my servant to shoot. Behold, now watch and see. I will bring forth my servant the shoot. My servant, this one who serves me, and that would be a servant of God. God has many servants. God has had many servants. God has servants that do both, that work both as good and both evil. And these servants will find out they're usually the law of God. My servant is the shoot. The shoot is the branch. The shoot is in King James Version it says branch. We have the shoot here. It is a sprout, that which comes forth, that which God's going to cause to grow quickly. 9. For behold, the stone that I have laid before Yeshua, upon one stone are 7 facets. Behold, I will engrave the graving thereof, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will remove the iniquity of the land in one day. For behold, watch and see, look, the stone, the stone is generally the rule, a law. It means it's established. It's something that's set. It's made firm. It's established. And this that I've laid before Yeshua, before God's salvation, upon one stone are 7 facets. And upon this one stone, even that beginning of that which I has established, God's salvation, even from the beginning, are these 7 facets. And this word facets is eyeing, and it does mean the eye, or these 7 perceptions, these 7 things seen, or 7 is to accomplish, 7 is to complete, is to make finish, to be done with. Behold, watch and see, I will engrave the gravings thereof, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will remove the perversions, or the iniquity of the land in one day. God says, God will engrave the gravings. And this word engrave means to open. It means to open, the opening, or to reveal. See, that the word is patak, and it means to open, to let loose, to free, to loosen that which was not loosened. See, to let go that which was not let go. God said, I will in that day remove the perversions of the land. In one day, even in one understanding, one small period of light and darkness. 10. In that day, saith the Lord of hosts, shall you call every man his neighbor under the vine and under the fig tree. And in that day, see, in that day, that's that small period. It's just a day. One little period of light and darkness, saith the Lord of hosts. And this is a period that you shall call every man his neighbor under the vine and under the fig tree. Every man shall be called neighbor under the vine, because they are all sharing, and that is to share. To be a neighbor, or to be neighborly, is to be beside, to be in agreement with, to share the abundance of this neighborly understanding, instead of that of contention. And this under the vine, see, to be under the vine is to be under that which brings forth fruit. The vine is that which is manicured. It's tended. It's watched over. It's pruned to bring forth good fruit. And this fig tree is even that tree that is in the field. It's a field tree, a tree that grows outside that brings forth fruit as well. And to those that even sit in the shade of it, who gather the fruit of it, which God gives. See, it all comes from God. It's all the work of God. That these things that men don't even have control of, they think they have the control of there, and they stand and they try to control the great strengths of God, but we'll find out God is always in control. Let's move forward to chapter 4. Turn and return.